Alrighty, folks, we're coming fresh off a perfect 3-0 week in our college football tier membership plays last weekend. That's on the premium page, and it was a clean sweep for us. Had a good weekend. It's going to put us at 7-2 in our last 9 plays in that same package. We're looking to do the same here today. Of course, the good news is I've got 3 more college football tier package plays going off here today for Saturday. Those plays are already posted and ready for access. Of course, if you sign up for that membership, you're going to get access to that package every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships during that time frame, absolutely free. Going to be included with your membership. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to my free pick video here today. For Saturday, October 25th, 2025, it's College Football Week 9. Happy Saturday to you. Hopefully you had a great start to the weekend. And if you're joining me for the first time here today, my name is Brock Page. I've been dishing out free sports picks on YouTube since 2016. With that, folks, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to start off with Kansas State taking on Kansas, 12 o'clock Eastern kickoff. Kansas is -3, totals 56. Now, the Jayhawks are 4-3 on the year. K-State just 3-4. This Wildcat defense has really collapsed late in games this year. They're in the bottom 10 in the country in fourth quarter points allowed. They're facing an explosive Kansas offense who averages over 32 points a game, 6.6 yards per play. Jaden Daniels has thrown for over 1,700 yards and 18 touchdowns. He's actually completing 70% of his throws with just 2 interceptions. Henderson and Groen, they've got 850 yards receiving combined. Kansas with victories over the likes of Central Florida, West Virginia, and Fresno State. When it comes to the total, both schools with overs in 3 out of their last 5 respectively. I like Kansas. Give me the Jayhawks -3. Over 56. Ole Miss, Oklahoma, 12 o'clock East. OU's -5.5, totals 52 and a hook. Both schools are 6-1 on the year. Plenty of unders amongst both teams. As a matter of fact, the Sooners saw unders in every single one of their contests this season. Thomas and Wine with 9 sacks between the both of them for the Sooners. Kip Lewis leads the defense in tackles. Meanwhile, Ole Miss on the other side, they're led by TJ Daugherty, who's got 46 tackles on the year. Eccles and Harris with a handful of sacks between the both of them. Total-wise, Ole Miss saw unders in 3 out of their last 4. I like the under 52.5. SMU, Wake Forest, 12 o'clock East. SMU's -3.5, totals 54. The Mustangs with unders in 4 out of their last 5 contests. Defense has been tough against the run this season. SMU's limiting opposing rushers to just 97 yards a game on the ground. When it comes to the pass rush, they've been pretty much terrorizing opposing quarterbacks and offensive lines. They're in the top 10 in sacks per game. Jeffrey Meba and Cam Robertson, they've got double-digit sacks between the both of them. Isaiah Wacobia leads the D in tackles. And they're facing a Wake Forest squad who's definitely been tough on the defensive side of the football themselves. The Deacs are limiting opposing offenses to just 20 points a game. Top 10 in fewest yards allowed per play. Langston Hardy leads the D-line in sacks. Nick Anderson with the most tackles on the D. The Deacs saw unders this year against the likes of Western Carolina and Kennesaw State. I like the under 54. All right, South Florida taking on Memphis. That's going to be a 12 o'clock Eastern start. USF's -6, totals 58.5. Both teams are 6-1 on the year, playing a physical brand of defense. USF's got a top 30 rushing defense, and I'll tell you, they pretty much have kept everything underneath them in the secondary. The Bulls are currently in the top 10 in fewest yards allowed per pass. Lee and Chenault, they've got a handful of interceptions between the both of them. Schuler leads the D in tackles. South Florida saw unders against the likes of Florida Atlantic, Florida Gators, and Boise State. Meanwhile, Memphis on the other side, well, they saw unders in all of their contests except for 2. They've got a top 25 rushing defense. Watson Brumfield with over 80 tackles between the both of them. Wilson and Ward with a handful of interceptions combined out of that secondary. I like the under 58.5. Auburn, Arkansas, 12:45 East. Arkansas is -3, totals 55.5. The Razorbacks are just 2-5 on the year. Defense has been pretty ass for most of the season. The Hogs allow 33 points a game, and they're actually in the bottom 10 in yards allowed per play. And out of their last 10 meetings with Auburn, this Arkansas defense has struggled with that scheme. They've allowed 40 points a game during that stretch. So if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. And even though the Tigers have not been overly prolific on the offensive side of things, they've done a nice job protecting the football. Auburn's in the top 5 in fewest turnovers per game. This big offensive line has also done a nice job protecting the quarterback. They're in the top 5 in fewest sacks allowed per contest. Now, total-wise, Arkansas games went 5-1 at the over in their last 6. Overs against Texas A&M, Notre Dame, and Memphis. I like Auburn +3, over 55. BYU, Iowa State, that's going to be a 3:30 Eastern kickoff. Iowa State's -3, totals 49. The Cyclones with unders in 3 out of their last 5. They've got a real good defense. Iowa State allows just 19 points a game. Neal and Bacon with over 80 tackles between the both of them. Meanwhile, BYU on the other side, they saw unders in 4 out of their last 6 themselves. Unders against Utah, Colorado, and Stanford. And on the defensive side of the football, the Cougs have been real good against the pass. They've got a top 25 passing defense. I like the under 49. Illinois, Washington, 3:30 Eastern start. Washington's -3, totals 54.5. The Huskies saw overs this year against Washington State and Colorado State. Definitely doing a nice job moving the sticks. They're averaging 6.9 yards per play from scrimmage, 35 points a game. Damon Williams is completing over 72% of his throws, 1,837 yards passing. Of course, the numbers are so big, they're so high, they're tough to say, tough to spit out. Boston and Robot, they've combined for nearly 900 yards receiving between the both of them. And they're facing an Illinois squad who saw overs in 3 out of their last 4, having little problems getting on the scoreboard themselves. The Illini averages nearly 35 points a game, does a nice job protecting the football. Illinois is in the top 25 in fewest turnovers per game. Luke Altmaier has thrown for over 1,800 yards, 13 touchdowns, and just 1 interception. And his favorite target's been Hank Beatty, who's got 39 grabs for 617 yards. I like the over 54.5. Minnesota, Iowa, 3:30 Eastern start. Iowa's -9, totals 40. The Hawkeyes are 5-2 on the year, doing a great job on the defensive side of the football. The Hawkeyes allow just 14 points a game, top 10 in fewest yards allowed per play. Llewellyn and Herkett with 8 sacks between the both of them. Carson Scherer with leads the D in tackles. They're taking on a Minnesota squad who's definitely struggled against the point spread recently. They failed to cover in 4 out of their last 5 contests. Not doing a great job establishing a run game. The Golden Gophers are in the bottom 30 in rushing yards per contest. When it comes to the total, Minnesota saw unders in 3 out of their last 5. Iowa games went 4-3 to the under for the entire season. I like Iowa -9, under 40. All right, next matchup, Missouri taking on Vanderbilt. That's going to be a 3:30 Eastern start. Vandy's -3, totals 52.5. Both squads are 6-1 on the year. Vandy with overs in 3 out of their last 4. The Commodores are averaging over 41 points a game, nearly 7.4 yards per play from scrimmage. Diego Pavia has thrown for almost 1,600 yards and 19 total touchdowns. That's both passing and rushing. Of course, Stowers and Sherrill with 7 TD grabs between the both of them. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Missouri's a top 15 point-scoring team themselves, one of the best rushing schools in the country. Ahmad Hardy has 840 yards on the ground, 11 touchdowns for him. And Bo Perbula, he's completing 70% of his throws, over 1,600 yards passing. Tiger games went 4-3 to the over this year. I like the over 52.5. Baylor, Cincinnati, 4 o'clock East. Cincy's -3, total 67.5. The Bearcats are 6-1 on the year, doing a nice job moving the chains. As a matter of fact, this Cincy offense gains more yards per play than any other school in the country besides one. They're gaining over 7.7 yards per play from scrimmage. Brendan Sorsby's got 24 total touchdowns on the year, just 1 interception, and he's only taken 2 sacks. And as a matter of fact, this Cincinnati O-line, they lead the nation in fewest sacks allowed. When it comes to running the football, Evan Pryor is averaging 7.8 yards per carry. And they're going up against a Baylor defense who's been porous at best against the run. They're allowing a $180 a game on the ground, 31 points per contest. The Bears' last 3 straight also got over the total, 5-2 to the over for the entire season. And ironically enough, 5 out of Cincy's last 7 got over the total themselves. Give me the Bearcats -3, over 67.5. All right, Texas, Mississippi State, 4:15 East. Texas is -8, totals 47. And for a team laying 8 points in a conference game on the road here, the Longhorns really have not been overly crisp on offense. Of course, when it comes to the point spread, the Longhorns failed to cover in all of their games except for 2. They're taking on a Mississippi State team who's actually amongst the best covering schools in the nation. 6-1 against the point spread this year, allowing just 20 points a game on defense. Jerron Manning leads the D in tackles. Mitchell and Smith with 70 tackles between the both of them. Both schools with unders in 5 out of their last 7 respectively. I like Mississippi State +8, under 47. Texas A&M, LSU, 7:30 Eastern start. Texas A&M's -3, totals 50. The Aggies saw unders recently against Mississippi State and Auburn. They've got an aggressive pass rush. The Aggies are in the top 5 in the country in sacks per game. Cassius Howe with 8 sacks on the season. York and Ratcliffe with over 80 tackles combined. LSU games went 5-2 to the under this season themselves, playing a physical brand of defense. The Tigers give up only 14 points a game, top 25 in fewest yards allowed per play. Cooley and Spears with a handful of interceptions out of the secondary. A.J. Halsey with 52 tackles on the season. I like the under 50. Tennessee, Kentucky, 7:45 East. Tennessee's -8, totals 54.5. The Volunteers are 5-2 on the season. Kentucky just 2-4. This Wildcat secondary has been susceptible to big chunk plays. They're in the bottom 10 in yards allowed per pass, and they're facing a Tennessee offense who definitely thrives on the home run ball. They're in the top 20 in yards per pass themselves. It's an offense who averages over 44 points a game and throws it for 310 yards per contest. Joey Aguilar's thrown for nearly 2,000 yards and 15 touchdowns. Brazel and Staley with over 1,100 yards receiving combined. When it comes to the total, both schools saw overs in 4 out of their last 5 contests. I like Tennessee -8, over 54.5. Houston, Arizona State, 8 o'clock East. ASU's -7.5, totals 47. Arizona State's 5-2 on the year. Houston's 6-1 themselves. This Cougar defense allows just 19 points a game, doing a nice job against the run. Jalen Garner leads the defense in tackles. Allen and Webb with over 85 tackles combined. They're facing an Arizona State offensive unit who ranks 102nd in yards per play, having a tough time protecting the quarterback. As a matter of fact, they're in the bottom 15 in sacks allowed per game. The Sun Devils saw unders in 5 out of their last 6. Houston with unders against the likes of Texas Tech and Stephen F. Austin. Give me Houston +7.5, under 47. Next, a final breakdown for the video. Colorado taking on Utah, 10:15 East. Utah's -13.5, totals 49 and a hook. The Utes are 5-2 on the year, cover the point spread in all of their contests except for 2. And a lot of that is because of this Utah defensive unit. They're allowing only 15 points a game, 155 yards a game through the air. The Utes with unders against the likes of BYU, Texas Tech, and Wyoming. Colorado games went 5-2 to the under this year themselves. I like Utah minus 13.5, under 49.5. And with that, folks, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Appalachian State plus 14.5, under 62. Bowling Green minus 6.5, over 47.5. We're 3-0 in our last 3 college football tier package plays on my premium page. 7-2 in our last 9 in that same package. Kansas Jayhawks minus 3, over 56. Northwestern plus 8, under 45. Ohio Bobcats minus 11, over 58.5. I like the under 52.5 in that Ole Miss Oklahoma matchup. Rutgers plus 1, over 58. Give me the under 54 SMU Wake Forest. Syracuse plus 17, under 53.5. Indiana Hoosiers minus 16.5, over 53. I like the under 58.5 South Florida Memphis. Virginia Cavaliers minus 10, over 51. Auburn plus 3, over 55. Buffalo Bulls minus 9.5, under 50. UConn minus 10, over 49. Give me the over 61.5. Utah State, New Mexico. Alabama minus 11, under 48. Give me the under 49. BYU-Iowa State. Northern Illinois minus 5.5, under 42.5. Navy minus 13.5, over 62. I like the over 54.5, Illinois, Washington. Southern Miss minus 12, over 50. Central Michigan minus 16, under 47. Iowa Hawkeyes minus 9, under 40. Over 52.5, Missouri-Vanderbilt. Pitt Panthers minus 6, over 55. Under 47.5, San Diego State-Fresno. Temple minus 5, over 54.5. Toledo plus 1, under 46. Western Michigan plus 2, under 41. Cincinnati minus 3, over 67.5. Texas Tech Red Raiders minus 37, over 54.5. Mississippi State Bulldogs plus 7.5, under 47. TCU minus 16, over 55. Georgia Southern plus 2, over 60.5. Troy minus 9, over 49. Miami Hurricanes minus 30.5, under 46. Oregon Ducks minus 31, under 45. Louisville minus 25, over 54.5. Wyoming minus 4, under 48. Michigan Wolverines minus 14, under 47.5. I like the under 50 in that A&M LSU matchup. Tennessee minus 8, over 54.5. Houston plus 7.5, under 47. And give me the Utah Utes minus 13.5, under 49.5. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium page. And just a friendly reminder, if you do end up signing up for a membership on my premium page, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships during that time frame, absolutely free. Going to be included with your membership. Of course, that's why I always tell folks that Gold Club package, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership. Gives you access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. But most importantly, folks, got to thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, folks, happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium page.